Same thing, 0% times 1 gallon. This is 0 again, right? Okay, but now we're going to take these two numbers and add them up. 3 plus 0, but then divide that by what?
4.
The total number of gallons we had in the new mixture. What's the total number we have? 3 plus 1, which was 4. And so when you do this, 3 over 4, you get 0.75, which means you have 75% juice in the mixture. I hope that makes sense. This number here is the total amount of liquid you had in both. And then this number and this number here come from these computations down there. You'll see in the next problem how this is going to be, well, it's confusing, but in the next problem you'll see it would be very hard to do just in your head. I think even this one, some people might be able to get without doing any math. They might be able to say, okay, you've got three parts this and 1 part that, so when you mix them, you're going to have 3 out of 4 parts at 75%. But that's only because these are 100% mixtures. Let's look at the next example. That one's pretty much the same thing. I like this one. Right there. What's that? I think you're going to love it, actually. Okay. We have 20 pints of a 2% saline solution. What's saline solution? It's basically salt water, okay? But it's only 2% salt. The rest of it's water, 2% of it's salt, but it's mixed up. So here's my container. I have a container. Inside of it is 2% salt water. And how much of it do I have? 20 pints? Okay. Then I'm going to mix that with 15 pints, so maybe a smaller container. What's the concentration of salt in this one? 9%. And 15 pints. All right. So now, how many pints are in the final mixture? So when I mix those two together, how many pints do I have? I have 35 pints in the final mixture, right? Now, that's going to be the denominator that I use to get the percentage. You know how we just did that a second ago? It was like 3 plus 1, or is 1 plus 1, and that was the denominator? We need to come up with the two numbers that are going to go here. So how do we do that? We come back to here. We take the 2%, which as a decimal is 0.02, right? And we multiply it times 20. And this time you get a number that's not as obvious as the one when you had 100%. What is 0.2 times 20? Did I say? Yeah, 0.02. I said 0.2. What is this? 0.4? You understand what I'm doing? The computation? Yeah. Now, I want you to try and understand what this 0.4 means. If you have 20 pints of water, this is saying, and it's 2%, right? 20 pints of 2%. That means if you were able to separate the salt out of the water, you would have 0.4 pints of salt. 20 pints of water, take the salt out, and you would have 0.4 pints of salt because it's 2% mixture. Do the same thing over here, 0.09 times 15, and someone do that on their calculator, what's that? 1.35. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add those two numbers up here, 0.4 plus 1.35. That's going to give me 1.75, I believe, over 35 pints. And what is 1.75 divided by 35? What is it? 0.05 something, or there's exactly 0.05? 0.05, straight up. Okay, so this is equal to 0.05, which is 5%. If you ever take a chemistry class, which you may or may not do, if you ever have to mix chemicals together, a lot of times in the back of, where they store all the chemicals, they'll have a certain percentage of maybe acid and another percentage. So they'll have like a low concentration and then a high concentration. And maybe in the experiment, you need a 5% concentration. So you actually mathematically have to mix these two together to get your 5% concentration. So you have to know how to do this sort of math to be able to convert, right? Because the 2% maybe is too low, the 9% is too high, you're going for 5%, so how do you mix it? This kind of tells you how you need to mix it to get the 5% solution. So we would have 35 pints of 5% solution if we mix these together. All right. That's a tough one right there. Yeah, this one's good. There are 2 liters of 3% milk, which is mixed with some 1% low-fat milk. If there are 7 liters of the mixture, how many liters of 1% low-fat milk were there to begin with? What is the percentage of fat in this 7-liter mixture? Whoa, what? This problem's different. How is this problem different? I have a 3% mixture, right? How much of it do I have? 2 liters. I'm going to mix that with what? A 1% milk, right? How much of that? I don't know, actually. Not right off the bat. They don't tell me how much, right? They don't tell me how much. But they do tell me that there are 7 liters of the mixture. So when I mix them together, I have 7. You see that? So in my mix, once I mix those, this is the mix right here, they tell me that this is 7 liters. Understand? So automatically, now you know that that had to be what? 5 liters. See, it's a little tricky in the wording. So the answer to the first question is, how many liters of 1% low-fat milk were there? 5 liters. Okay, now, what is the percentage of fat in this 7-liter mixture? You have 9 minutes to do this on a separate sheet of paper with your neighbors and turn it into as a quiz. Everyone turns in their own page. But you only have 9 minutes, so y'all work together, work fast. This is going to go exactly like the previous problem.